These images, they show monuments, memorials, cemeteries. These images are tributes to World War I. When I see these pictures, I think of who, what, when, where, and why. The why, for me, is the most important. It's the why for me. Hi everybody, my name is Miss Edwards. In this video, we are going to talk about the different ways you can identify cause and effects. Our focus question is, what were the causes of World War I? Our objective for this lesson is to analyze the causes of World War I in Europe and in the Ottoman Empire at multiple scales. Let's get into it. So let's start with these images. These images, they show monuments, memorials, cemeteries. These images all have something in common. These images are tributes to World War I. When I see these pictures, I think of who, what, when, where, and why. The why, for me, is the most important. It's the why for me. So cause and effect. One skill of many that we need to master in social studies is cause and effect. How do we find cause and effect? Let's look at the different ways that we can find cause and effect. There are 3 ways to identify causes and effects. The first is to look for actions and reactions. What happened before? What happened first? And then what happened after and what happened second. Number 2, so you look for problems and solution. So is there a conflict? Is there a disagreement? And then what was the response? What was the fix? And you look for signal words. So signal words are markers. Before, after, because, so, as a result, led to, since, consequently, and in order to. Now we're going to look at some sentences that have causes and effects, and we're going to identify which strategy we can use to identify the cause and effect. Okay, let's practice. So we have the sentence, the Archduke of Austria-Hungary was assassinated and Europe spiraled into war. So let's look at this sentence. I'm noticing that the Archduke of Austria-Hungary was assassinated. That sounds like an action, and Europe spiraled into war sounds like a reaction. So strategy number 1 helped me here. Let's look at another example. Germany invaded Belgium. As a result, Britain joined the war. So I'm noticing a few things. Again, action, reaction. Okay, so number 1. But then also there is a signal word here. As a result, so let's look at another example. Before the start of World War I, there was an industrial revolution that resulted in new military technologies. The use of these military technologies led to a large number of casualties during the war. Many soldiers who survived had lost their limbs in battle, and as a result, the soldiers were given prosthetics. I'm definitely noticing some actions and some reactions here. Okay, so the action is Industrial Revolution that resulted in new military technologies, and then the action or the reaction was many people died, many soldiers died. Okay, I'm also noticing there's problems and solutions. Okay, so we saw that some soldiers lost their limbs, and the solution was to use prosthetics. Okay, so problems and solutions are here. And then there are a ton of signal words. Before, resulted, and led to. And even as a result. I forgot to circle that one, right? So, boom. Now you're going to listen to a clip from the video, Who Started World War I, So what are some of the causes that you hear for the start of World War I? Pause and watch this video for the causes. So now that you've watched it, you heard the causes for World War I were militarism, alliances, imperialism, and nationalism. Let's look at the text. Tip: sometimes it helps to listen to the text. So there are several tools that you can use to listen to the text. One is Immersive Reader if you're using Microsoft Teams. Another is simply just going to Google and typing in text-to-speech free. And you'll see a number of different platforms that you can use to have the text read aloud to you. Okay, sometimes these dense texts, they can put you to sleep, but it helps to have it read to you. So I'm noticing that it's the spark that began the war was the assassination of the heir to the Austro-Hungarian Empire, the Archduke Franz Ferdinand, by Bosnian Serbs who hoped to bring about the independence of Bosnia from the empire. This part of the sentence, the assassination of the heir to the Austro-Hungarian Empire, is an example of an action, and the war following was the reaction. So it's an example of action and reaction. And we also have bring about, which signals to me that some sort of change is going to follow. So that's a signal word there. So if you notice, in this slide, we have a few different examples of causes, and we want to find them, okay? And we want to identify which strategy we use. So when we look at this slide, we see a number of them. All during July 1914, diplomatic tensions rose between two alliances, which slowly drew in other powers as well. So definitely we have action and reaction happening here. We have nationalism at the root. So that's telling us that's the cause. So we have a signal word there, root of the conflict. And then you skip down to the bottom, you'll see other groups in the region still desired independence, including the Bosnians who shot Archduke Ferdinand. Nationalism also drove the populations of the major states to desire war. This is also an example of action versus reaction. Let's recap. So we can find causes and effects by looking for actions, reactions, problems and solutions, and signal words. Well, I hope this video helped. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video. Peace.